There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. You're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. It's the weekend, kids, and you get exactly what you deserve. Supernatural News and Parashare now on Beyond the Darkness over at the Supernatural News Desk. Mr. Tim Dennis. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Dave.
Well, I see in the battle of zombies versus AI, both of us win a little bit this week, but you might be a little bit closer to proving your end of the story.
You can call it like it's been shown and seen, Dave. I'm winning the race here. If this were a political race, I'd have at least a 3-1 margin. I think.
Hey, I think they've swept my stories underneath the carpet because of just how real zombie attacks have been.
The news would be calling the race for me by now. They'd be saying, you know what, Tim, AI's taking over. We might as well just start getting the weapons out right now and bear down for the war that's to come with AI.
I don't want to believe it, Tim. I can't believe it. I won't believe it.
But why?
Because I don't want to believe that machines are ready to kill us, Tim. But what I do want to believe is that it's the holiday season, and our exclusive partners here at Podcast One, betonline.ag, are in the giving season. Sign up and create a free account on betonline.ag. Use the promo code PODCAST1 to receive a 50% sign-up bonus. Yeah, a 50% sign-up bonus from the world of all sports to entertainment and prop odds. BetOnline.ag is your one-stop show to get in all the action. They are our official sponsors for today's program, Tim. Where shall we begin in the world of supernatural news?
I'll just have you know, BetOnline AG has odds right now on me winning that box of Twinkies. I happen to be in the lead. I'm just saying, I don't want to start rumors or anything, but I will give you this. Let's just start out right away with the whole man getting 15 years for ramming cars to escape zombies. That
is kind of an important story. I wish he wasn't drunk when he did it, but still an important story.
All right, go ahead. There's always drugs and alcohol involved when it comes to these zombie things, Dave. Is that a common theme? Just saying. A man got 15 years for ramming his cars to quote-unquote escape zombies, Dave. English ain't my forte these days, I'm just saying.
Not much.
Sean Michael Stroud was on drugs, the DA says. Shock of all shocks. A Mississippi Gulf Coast man who rammed vehicles because he thought zombies were chasing him has been sentenced to 15 years in prison, per the AP. The Sun Herald has also reported that 32-year-old Sean Michael Stroud of Kiln, love you there in Kiln, I'm not saying that facetiously, I mean that, pleaded guilty last week to aggravated assault, grand larceny, and malicious mischief. Say that 10 times backwards. Mischief, malicious. Gulfport police arrested Stroud on April 8th after he stole a front-end loader from a recycling center. That means he was ambitious. And smashed it into at least 4 cars in a Walmart parking lot because they probably had it coming, including 2 with people inside because they were loitering.
Were those people zombies, Tim?
No, Dave, they were.
How do you know, Tim? Were you there? How do you know mainstream media isn't just sweeping part of the story underneath the carpet, hiding the truth, Tim?
Because somebody called the cops, Dave.
That there's no more room in hell, so now the dead must walk the earth, Tim.
I don't think that happened here, Dave. Stroud's wild ride ended after he hit a palm tree and got a flat tire. That'll happen eventually when you start taking stuff out. Stroud told police he thought the world was ending. Alas, Mr. Stroud, it isn't. Harrison County District Attorney Joel Smith says Stroud was on drugs. Duh. Besides prison.
Is that an official...
that was from the judge himself.
Op-ed line there?
Yeah, that was a quote from the judge. He just went, duh, sir. Duh.
Now I know why he got voted in.
Yeah. Well, he's a straight-up judge. I mean, he's probably going to get his own TV show, I'm just saying. Besides prison, Stroud may pay $41,000 in restitution, or he must pay, rather. He may pay it. I doubt he's got the cash, especially after trashing that front-end loader. And spend 5 years on post-release supervision. Raccoons in Ohio were acting like zombies, it says in this story as well. I could follow that for you to try and even up the odds, but I doubt it's going to do you much good.
Go for it. What have you got?
All right, I'll follow the link. I'll do the work here. I'll try to. All right, here goes.
Listen to you. All right.
It's from a while back. I mean, I'm taking stories from April to try and even out your case here for you.
It's still from this year. Did we not cover it back in April? Did a zombie story get passed in the month of April?
We did. It's about raccoons acting like zombies because they probably have distemper, which happens in a lot of cases.
Which is exactly what happens with their little human hands. They end up coming into our homes, biting us. Thus begins the zombie outbreak.
That's what you said when we covered this last time.
I was right.
No.
Look, this guy's seeing them and front-loading them.
And front-loading them for their pleasure.
Well, if we've already read it, we'll just skip it and move on to the world of Supernatural News.
Let's recap, Dave. I want to coddle your precious fragile ego as much as I can here. Here, and we go to Ohio, where zombies have been seen sauntering. Ooh, this is new for zombies. Through a northeastern Ohio town, zombie raccoons. That is. Dun, dun, dun! I'll even give the sound effect. Youngstown residents are speaking out about them after police received more than a dozen calls in the past few weeks regarding their strange behavior. One resident tells WKBN that he was outside with his dogs last week. This was in April. When one such zombie followed him to his door. Ooh, zombie raccoons, Dave. Zombie raccoons. The raccoon would stand up on his hind legs. They're known to do that. Show its teeth. They do that too. Then fall over backwards when they're drunk and go into an almost comatose condition. We call that sleep, the man says. He'd come out and he'd come out of it, walk around, then he'd do the same thing again. Though rabies can cause similar uncharacteristic behavior. This man's probably a city dweller, doesn't go out for more than his coffee. Experts suspect the raccoons are suffering from distemper, a viral disease that affects canines and other animals such as foxes and skunks. If the man got out and read a nature magazine every once in a while, he'd know that. Ohio's... What?
How dare you?
Well, I dare.
How dare you?
I take a dare every once in a while. Ohio's Department of Natural Resources has been euthanizing raccoons believed to be infected with the disease, which causes convulsions and paralysis, erases a raccoon's fear of humans, and often sees the nocturnal animals venture out into daylight, much like a rabid, vampire, Dave. They might be vampires, too. Who knows?
Could only make it worse.
A rep says...
Vampire zombie raccoons.
I don't want to get your ire up here. A rep says distemper can be devastating to the population, but less susceptible raccoons will help the population balloon again. The problem isn't isolated to Youngstown, though. Autopsies performed this year on raccoons in Cook County, Illinois. They're coming north, Dave! Showed 43% had distemper. That, according to NBC Chicago. This follows the highest ever rate of 45% in 2016. It's very serious for the raccoon, and it's very serious for the companion animal population. Oh, it's spreading. It's spreading. Says a rep for Cook County Animal and Rabies Control. Live Science notes dogs can get a distemper vaccine so it doesn't spread to your family pet, heaven forbid.
Well, you don't want that in your family pets, Tim.
Well, no. I mean, you don't want zombie pets.
The zombie, right. You wake up and your hamster's all, brains.
Wouldn't you just flick it in the head and shake it loose? I mean...
Remind me never to ask you to babysit my hamsters when I'm out of town.
Well, if they become zombies, I'm going to flick them in the head. Just saying.
You're horrible. All right, where are we off to next?
I take the lead on that stuff. It says here that... is this... I don't think I opened the right story here because I have a story about President Trump. Is this what the story I'm supposed to read?
I don't think I sent you any Trump stories.
Oh, I think that may be an ad. Hold on just a second. Hold on.
Hey, let me give you a quick review of a movie.
All right.
Since we do talk about movies that have supernatural and bizarre, anomalous slants, you guys got to go out and see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse if you get a chance. It is such a fun movie. And I'll tell you what, it's got everything you can want. Multi-dimensional characters. It's got a kind of a time travel-y feel to it. It is a great way to reintroduce to the universe the magic that is Spider-Man. And they do it in a great way because, of course, in the comic books, they updated with a series and they introduced a character by the name of Miles Morales. And I was wondering how they were eventually going to do this and broach that subject in our overly PC world. And they did it great. I thought they did it fantastic. You get a taste of all of what Spider-Man glory is with Peter Parker as Spider-Man and maybe more than one version of Peter Parker. And then you get introduced to Miles Morales as the story unfolds and you find out about this crazy happening that's going on that opens up multiple portals to multiverses, and all of these different versions of Spider-Man appear on this one Earth, and they are forced to do battle to try to set things right. And it is such a fun ride. The animation is innovative. The storyline, just a lot of fun, a really good deal. And I love that they incorporate all these different versions of Spider-Man, from like Japanese anime with Penny Parker and the SPDR to Peter Porker, the spectacular Spider-Ham, which was a funny little version of him, to Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Gwen. They've got all of them in one deal. And I know for those of you that are not big Spider-Man fans, you have no clue who we're talking about with these other characters, but your kids are going to love it. It is a lot of fun. I would go on a scale of 1 to 5. I would give this a serious 4.5 for family entertainment value. So that's my take on it. Tim, your thoughts?
You know, I don't think you really need to know those other peripheral characters that come in. That's the beauty of the movie.
No, but I just didn't want to scare off newer people to be like, I'm not even going to know who all the rest of these people are. You don't need to. You just realize that alternate universes have alternate versions of Spider-Man, and they all slip into this universe for one brief time.
I wasn't even familiar with Spider-Man Noir. I had no idea. But it's the way they introduce them and they give you kind of a quick background is really cool. You know what? It's in these days where you can watch these animated films and they tend to leave out little bits and pieces, and they rearrange origins in I think comic book fans go into it and go, oh, but they were missing this, and oh, I wish I would have done this, and oh, I really wish I would have done this. They really fulfilled everything, and they checked all the boxes for me. And I sat there, and for a minute there, I kind of watched it with the wonderment of a kid again, which was cool. Not a lot of animated films do that or can bring you to that space. And what was really cool is I was sitting watching it with my nephew, and he's 6, and he absolutely loves the Peter Parker version of Spider-Man, but he came out of it going, I really love Miles Morales.
Yeah, my kids were the same.
Yeah, and so, you know, if you can go in and you can tell that story and bring in new versions of Spider-Man and really get people to love new versions of Spider-Man and put that thing forward, that movie was amazing. I think it's one of the best movies of this year, much less just a superhero movie. It really tells a solid story, and they really put a lot of forethought into the movie.
Right, and for a lot of people that are all kind of on superhero burnout, this gives you a fresh... They really find a fun way to infuse and refresh. And this is probably, in my opinion, one of the better animated movies to have come out in a long time as well. It's
just a good story from beginning to end. And that's one of the things a lot of movies are missing. They don't take the time to really flesh out a story and let it play out and look at the little nuances of the story. So, you know, you gave it, 4.5 out of 5?
Yeah.
Honest to God, I would go 4.9 out of 5 on this thing, because to me, it's just airtight. There's only one little tiny itty bitty thing that stuck in my craw a little bit, and it's so little that It doesn't even bother me.
Consequential to you. Yeah. Well, that's it. There was just a little bit of the animation that I found distracting, and that's the only reason I gave it 4.5 stars. But otherwise, I agree with you. It was pretty good, pretty close to perfection for an animated movie, and a lot of fun. Considering it's not a Disney flick, with musical and all that stuff, and kind of capturing all different styles of genre. This was just really well done. Anyway, have we gotten past the Trump ad yet?
We got past your
article.
Yep.
All right, where are we off to next?
We go to. This is what, Dave, sometimes we get terrible names in the paranormal, and it has nothing to do with joking about the news. It has nothing to do with, any slant you may take towards doing a paranormal program, Dave. Sometimes it's just the goofs in the paranormal that think that they have special gifts and that they've reached over to the other side, Dave, and they have special relationships with the ghosts over there on the other side. Sometimes it's just the woo-woo crap, Dave. And here's an example of why. Are you ready? Can you tell my ears up a little bit about this story?
I could. I know this. I know where you're going with the story, son. So I know I'm ready for you.
Remember that Jack Sparrow impersonator that married that 300-year-old ghost pirate? She'd formed that special relationship.
Special bond. It's that once in a lifetime connection, Tim, that so many years ago she met him, fell deeply in love. And this is the love that will transcend all time and space. As we've proven that here, death doesn't even separate us from the faction of love, Tim. It can be something grand and masterful. It's magical, Tim. It's like unicorns and rainbows. That's how powerful love through to the other side really can be, Tim.
Whoopee. Couldn't find a flesh and blood guy to give it to her. Had to go for a ghost. Just calling it like I see it. That Irish woman who says she married a 300-year-old pirate ghost apparently got spooked and has now left the marriage, Dave.
What?
Evidently.
It's magic and rainbows, Tim.
No, it's just something that you can get rid of with medication, Dave. Just something you can get rid of with medication.
She left her ghost lover, Tim?
Yes.
Her ghost pirate lover?
Yep. Gone like the wind, Dave. Whew. Like that. Amanda Sparrow Teague wrote on social media this week, I so feel it's time to let everyone know that my marriage is over.
No. Read it like a pirate. Read it like a pirate, Tim.
Oh, so I feel it's time to let everyone know that my marriage is over.
Better. I like it.
Yeah.
It brings an air of transparency to the story, Tim, when you feel like you're part of it.
Okay. I will explain all in due course, but for now, all I want to say is to be very careful when dabbling in spirituality. It's not something to mess with.
Spirituality?
Spirituality. Arr. Teague, who works as a Jack Sparrow impersonator, says she got married to a Haitian pirate from the 1700s. How she knew, I have no idea. Imagination's a hell of a drug, Dave.
Because he told her, I be a pirate from the 1700s, and I'm Haitian in case ye don't know.
It was like, did he show up and go like, hey man, you want to get married, boy? I got me a ring. It's from a rum bottle. Married to a Haitian pirate from the 1700s who was executed for thieving. This is a heck of a backstory.
Again, proof that they go for the bad boy, even in those cases.
Right, yeah. They never marry a nice priest they found from the 1700s.
No.
The ceremony apparently took place on a boat in international waters and was carried out by a shaman priest. Fact-checking site Snopes.com investigated the partnership and determined it was not, in fact, a legal marriage. You can't evidently.
What?
Yeah, you can't.
What?
Yeah, you can't get married in international waters by a shaman priest. It didn't work that way.
To a ghost?
To a ghost, yeah. It wasn't
What?
legal. Yeah, you can't do that.
If I can't trust a shaman priest on international waters to marry me to a ghost, Tim, what is there left to believe in this world?
You get married by Chris Jericho in international waters. We found that out, but. Yeah. And then he'll evidently
a living, breathing person.
And he'll punch out if you're his drum tech and someone's attacking you.
Yeah,
we found that much out. Growing up in Ireland in my era, you were taught that if a man betted you, that he should wed you. Teague told People.com. How does she know? Did he just
you in your provincial life? Why I sound like Mr. Krabs.
You do.
from SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
Oh, that's sad too, because the creator of SpongeBob passed away from ALS.
Yeah,
and they did spread his ashes in the sea.
Thanks for bringing the party down.
Well, I wanted to mention. I want to shout out to my boy.
Okay.
They threw him in the ocean. Whether he's going to come back and nail a Jack Sparrow impersonator or even a SpongeBob impersonator, who knows? I mean, it could happen. Yeah. She said, I knew from my research that spiritual marriage was a thing, so it was more me that wanted to get married than him. Of course, he's a pirate. He has commitment issues. He sails the sea. He drinks rum.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to, he wanted to bed you. He didn't want to wedge you. He just wanted to get his hooks into something and then move on.
Oh, of course I love ye. This will last for a lifetime or beyond.
He's like, that's not me, peg leg. Arr. And then he moved on.
Yeah.
She said he would have been happy like most men with just sex. Of course, he's a pirate. He pillaged.
Baby, it's not ye, it's me. Oh, I want that on a T-shirt. It's not ye, it's me.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
I'll take one, too. Just let me know how much it costs. Teague's apparition affair began on a happier note in 2014 when she says she suddenly felt the spirit's energy with her in bed, if you know what I mean. She told the Daily Star the spirit sat with her while she watched TV and drove her car. Probably needed a ride somewhere, is my guess. And that she started developing strong, loving feelings towards it. Of course.
Baby, can ye make me a sandwich? I be hungry.
It's been so long since I've eaten. It's worth noting that in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, the character of Edward Teague, played by guitarist Keith Richards in Dead Men Tell No Tales, is the father of the character Jack Sparrow, whose full name would be, guess what?
Jack Sparrow Teague.
Yeah, you got it, Jack Teague. Newsweek reports it was unable to verify the existence of a person so named when it looked in January. So, guess what, Dave? It's all in her head. It's just all in her head.
It's in her head. It's in her head. Zahambi.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah,
it's magical.
It's clever.
A little bit of my love to it.
It's very clever.
Yeah. Baby, you caught me having sex with a poltergeist, but it wasn't. I was thinking of you the entire time.
I was thinking about ships rocking on the ocean.
I'll kill all ya. All right, where are we off to next?
We go over Illinois and Kentucky to a mystery radar blip. And it seems that nobody knows why that mystery radar blip showed up over southern Illinois and western Kentucky. The origin of said mysterious blips that appeared across the radar in southern Illinois and western Kentucky on Monday night may have come from military aircraft, but nearby military bases say they had nothing to do with it. The storm-like blips left the National Weather Service in a state of confusion since it wasn't raining in the region. This, according to the Courier Press newspaper.
'Twasn't us, I tell ye.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't get out of the pirate frame.
The pirate storm. That could be a great George Clooney movie, should he ever run out of ideas. Social media users.
He could call it Ye Old Ocean's 11.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. It takes the franchise in a whole different direction. Yeah.
Come on, Matt Damon. Bring along Brad Pitt. We're going to have some fun on the open seas.
And Brad's all depressed because he's never really gotten over Angelina, and he wants to pillage but can't pillage, and then they give him some Blue Chew, and all of a sudden he's in pillage. Yeah.
Wow.
Blue Chew. I'm sure if we mention them, they'll come on as a sponsor.
I'd like them to, because we need it. I mean, not personally. We need sponsors. We love sponsors.
Everybody needs Blue Chew, Dave.
Blue Chew on occasion.
Yeah, if a
little pinch between the cheek and gum, if you know what I mean.
If you're feeling a little spry and we know it's no lie, it's Blue Chew.
Ooh, wow, look at you.
I'm in the creative process today, I guess.
Boys, if your hook hand's feeling a little limp, if your peg leg ain't quite living up to its expectations, you might want to try some Blue Chew. Bring the spark back to your afterlife love affair with your humanistic wife. Blue Chew.
Does she just want to be held, but you want to get down and weld? It's Blue Chew.
Can we send that blip to them, see if that'll win them over?
I think so. I think we can. In
case people haven't figured it out, Blue Chew is for erectile dysfunction.
Yeah. I think we can send that as a spec ad over to them.
Yeah, please do. Send it over to them.
I think I will. I'll just...
Help raise your Jolly Roger with Blue Chew. All right, go on. Next story.
You want to nail that hag and raise up your flag? It's Blue Chew.
That's right.
Yeah, I think we got it. I think we've nailed down that sponsor. I think we'll get some advertising money here. Probably next week. Social media users theorize that the culprit could have been debris from passing meteors or even a flock of birds. Oh, that'd be tragic. Jeez.
Why didn't they just say flock of seagulls? That would have made it. If it would have been a flock of seagulls causing it, that would have been great.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Such an unforgotten guitar riff. A local TV meteorologist tweeted out that an unnamed pilot at the Evansville Regional Airport in Indiana said the fog was chaff, radar jamming material, sometimes released during training exercises from a military C-130 aircraft. Information from a pilot appears to confirm that chaff, he's a bad mother.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just talking about chaff.
Yeah, I couldn't remember it. Sorry, I never watched the Shaft movies.
You're supposed to just say, shut your mouth. I'm just talking about chaff.
Shut your mouth.
I'm just talking about chaff.
I said shut your mouth.
No, I'm just talking about chaff. Okay, there we go.
Speaking of Shaft, try some Blue Chew.
See, there you go. It's a callback, and we're just hoping to get that advertising dollar. Yeah. Information from a pilot appears to confirm that chaff was the mysterious radar echo that traversed #tri-state weather late Monday afternoon and evening. Pilot was told by EVV Air Traffic Control that chaff was released by military C-130 northwest of Evansville. I hope he landed okay. I mean, that's a rough landing. At NWSP Paducah, WEHT TV meteorologist Wayne Hart tweeted, and we all know we all follow Wayne Hart on the tweet machine, if the blips were indeed chaff from a military plane, no military installations in the area are claiming it as theirs. Whatever aircraft it was not a Scott Air Force Base craft, Master Sergeant Thomas Dosher said Tuesday morning. It's getting close to Christmas. I'm getting used to hearing my name in anger. I don't generally make the good list on Christmas. A spokesperson for Fort Campbell in Kentucky said he didn't know any operation involving a C-130. He added if such a plane did originate from the Army base, it would have been involved in a secret special forces exercise. The Federal Aviation Administration said the Evansville Airport did not immediately respond to Fox News requests for comment on early Wednesday. So there you go.
All right, Tim, where are we off to next?
We go to the world of Hollywood, Dave, where Blink-182's Tom DeLonge is making a new sci-fi TV series called Strange Times. Mm-hmm. The former Blink-182 member has spoken at length about his interest in the paranormal. Now he's fleshing it out into a paranormal TV series. Strange Times is currently in development with TBS. A press release described the show as 5 dirty teenage skateboarders who solve paranormal mysteries while being chased by deep state government agents. DeLonge said, my love for all things paranormal and skateboarding are sometimes only superseded by my love for offensive humor. Sounds like my kind of guy, actually. We need to hang Tom DeLonge. The guitarist and former Angels and Airwaves frontman will be an executive producer for the new series alongside its writer Aaron Caro. The show has not yet provided a release date. In an interview with Variety, DeLonge said, this is a dream I've had for over 10 years, and it's finally a reality. We hope to create something that could be described as a sort of science fiction Disney, where our entertainment franchises are worlds that are inspired and informed by our own next-generation science division. DeLonge left Blink-182 in 2015 and has been replaced by Alkaline Trio singer Matt Skiba. He has long professed his interest and belief in the paranormal. In 2017, he was announced as UFO Researcher of the Year and started his own company to research the issue. When asked about the possible soundtrack, DeLonge said, I would love to see some of my favorite punk rock bands like The Descendants, The Queers, and Bad Religion, all of which were part of the soundtrack to my life at that time. But I can also see a great new wave band like New Order, Depeche Mode, and The Cure. The ideal theme song would be Suburban Home by The Descendants. So there you go.
All right. Where are we off to next?
Next, we move on to an eerie moment where a woman feels arms wrapped around her years after her dad's death. A woman says she's completely mystified by an eerie experience she had in her bed one morning, and it has her questioning everything that she believes. She claims she does not believe in the afterlife, ghosts, or the paranormal, and works in a scientific-related field. The woman said her dad died suddenly and unexpectedly in her family home about 9 years ago, and due to circumstances, she is living back there at the moment. But yesterday, after waking up, she experienced something very spooky that makes her wonder whether her dad is still present in the house in some way. Writing on Mumsnet, she said, "My mom has mentioned a few times over the years that she felt my dad's presence here, and I've always been openly kind to her about it. She's mentioned she's felt pressure in the bed, as if someone has sat down on it next to her, for example." The woman confessed she thought her mom's imagination was getting the best of her as she was grieving up until now. She continued, "Anyway, this morning my partner has left for work and I was still in bed and I was listening to him brushing his teeth and then popping the kettle on, so I was definitely awake but just a little drowsy. I felt him get back into the bed with me and I thought, what's he doing? It's not unusual for him to pop back into the bedroom and give me a hug and kiss before leaving the house. I felt the heaviness of him pressed against my back and his arms wrapped around me. There was a heat between my shoulder blades I've never felt before, but I wasn't scared, but I also knew it wasn't my partner then. I heard the front door open, so partner was leaving the house. Then my whole back went tingly, a bit like pins and needles, but not in an unpleasant way. When it happened, I felt calm and warm, but I'm freaking out now and I can't stop crying. I know it sounds silly, but I feel like it might have been my dad."
Shh, baby, everything's going to be okay. It's your father, I swear.
No need to turn around.
Now we know why she left her philandering, felonious pirate husband. Tim.
That's right, yeah.
He be sneaking into beds, cuddling up with other women.
"Here's 6 pieces of gold for you not to say nothing." I know, it's terrible. She added that she was definitely awake and is now questioning everything. The post had hundreds of replies from people with thoughts and suggestions about what may have happened to her. Some believe that she may have been experiencing sleep paralysis, a condition where you are temporarily unable to move when going
Hush, little baby, don't say a word.
That's a little
Your pirate lover's gonna buy you a mockingbird.
When going to sleep or waking up, which can cause people to sense something else in the room. Others said they have had similar feelings after loved ones died. And others said, "My mom died 5 years ago, but on a handful of occasions, I felt her come and sit on the bed next to me. I wasn't particularly thinking about her at the time. But rationally, I tell myself I was dreaming, but I still think it was her." So there you go.
Oh, yeah. Well, whatever works. Yeah. Blue Chew works, Tim.
Yeah, it does.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah. We need some of that Blue Chew money, boy.
When you're ready to ride the 7 seas, turn to Blue Chew for all your loving needs.
And do as you please.
All right.
That didn't sound.
Next story, sir.
Next story. A mom records chilling footage of a teen ghost who emerged as she was home alone. Lori Simmons is also open to the idea that the dark figure captured in the video could have been an alien, but she's determined not to move house. Oh, boy. A terrified mom recorded chilling footage of a dark figure she believes is the ghost of a teenage boy. Mom of 4, Lori Simmons, was chatting to a friend of hers on an app which allows users to record videos to each other in real time when her mate asked her if someone was in the house with her. Lori, who claims to have been home alone at the time, said her heart stopped after she replayed the chilling footage and witnessed a dark figure dash in and out of the frame behind her while she spoke to Shanna Thomas. She says chills were sent down her spine and her heart jumped into her throat. Lori believes the figure to be the ghost of a prankster teenage boy, but is also open to the idea of it being an alien. The 47-year-old from Yakima, Washington, said she had just woken up and was chatting with her best friend on the app Marco Polo, but was left horrified. You have
Marco
Polo. Do you have that on your phone by chance?
Marco
Polo? The store manager said, "I'd only just moved into my apartment, so I was video chatting with my friend to show her around, and I was just talking about general things. It was nothing out of the ordinary. We were using an app called Marco."
Polo.
Which is like a video walkie-talkie. You can hit the start button to record, and others can watch you in real time like a regular video call, and then you can replay it. But all of a sudden, her face got really serious, and she asked if someone was in the house with me. I live alone, but I instantly looked around because it was so weird the way she said it, and it really frightened me. I told her I was home alone, but she looked pretty shocked and told me to watch my video again to see what I thought. She said it was like someone was following me around the house. Ooh, yeah, in the picture, it looks like a little small gray alien. She added, so I watched it and my heart jumped into my throat. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so scary. It sent chills down my spine, and it just shocked me so much. I've had lots of paranormal experiences in my life, but nothing quite like this. I've only cried twice in my life from things that I've seen, but this did make me cry, she went on to add. Lori said she was so frightened by what she saw that she decided to stay at her daughter's house for the night, and then the next day had the house cleaned and blessed by a spiritual friend. The mom said her new house, which was built in 1935, is located in the oldest part of town and is situated right next to both a hospital from the early 1800s and a nursing home. During the horrifying ordeal, the mom is determined to stay in her new home. She said, I showed the video to people at my work, and they actually screamed. That scared me to see the reactions. I believe it was the spirit of a teenage boy, maybe 13 or 14 years old, but many people have said that they think it's an alien. I definitely believe in aliens, so it's certainly a possibility. People have told me to move out, but you can't run from these type of things. 46-year-old jewelry maker Shanna was on the video to chat with her, with their best friend Lori at the time, and said she couldn't believe her eyes when the figure appeared. She added, I seriously thought someone was walking behind her like a human child. I watched this all happen in real time on the app, and I saw this thing peek around the corner at me as if to see if we were still talking. I've watched the video probably 1,000 times and it still creeps me out. I kind of felt like it wanted to be seen, kind of almost playful. I believe it was the spirit of someone who has passed and wanted to be acknowledged. It was very startling to see, and I can't stop thinking about it. There you go.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting piece of video. And having had that experience myself, not on the Marco
Polo
app. I didn't have that happen, but I did, while talking to a friend, see a ghost walk in behind her and sit at the desk next to her. It was crazy stuff.
Crazy.
All right, where are we off to next?
I did have a story that a listener sent to me that I was going to throw by you, but I'm going to call on Audible and read it anyways. It has to do with an angel. It's an angel story about a fire chief that believes his home security camera caught an angel flying over his pickup truck. A man from Michigan believes that his home security camera captured an angel flying above his vehicle. Fire Chief Glenn Thorman said that he received 2 photos on Wednesday sent by his security system, and he was surprised to see the images. I said, that's an angel, and I was blown away, he told WPBN. In the first photo, it shows a blurry image of an object over his truck. The second picture shows the white blurry object flying away. Thorman showed the pictures to his pastor of his church, Daniel Mose. It's an angel, so I guess there is no question who is watching over their residence while they're asleep. And he said, and yes, they pray that the angels of the Lord will surround them in their property, Mose wrote. Mose said that the photos were taken by a motion-activated camera and hadn't been altered in any way. The second photo, the security camera also shot because the angel was moving away, she wrote. After sharing the photos on Facebook, it received around 1.3 thousand reactions and more than 1.8 thousand shares. So there you go. Onward.
Nice little angel stories. There's nothing that could upset me now after an angel story.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I love angels. They just make me feel better, Tim. I mean,
they do.
Yeah, it lifts your soul. It lifts your spirit. You begin to feel a little bit better.
I know. Now you feel nice and comfy, don't you?
I do.
Like a nice warm hug wrapped around you because you're going to need it, Dave.
Why is that?
That's why.
What is going on?
It's time for everybody to hunker around the fire and listen to Uncle Timmy as I launch into stories of why you should be scared to death, and why I'm going to win the box of Twinkies, why you all spines are crushed into powder and your bodies are eventually burned and used for fuel in the robot revolution that's to come. I told you so. I told you, people. You thought I was mad. You thought I was just some sort of weirdo wacko sitting there in the corner drooling on myself and talking gibberish.
We're still not wrong. We're not wrong.
Don't interrupt me when I'm in a rant.
Oh, sorry.
Anyways, so this story belongs to Amazon, our friends at Amazon. You think it's a cute little service where they just drop stuff off at your door and people show up and steal it off your porch? No.
Christmas has never been easier. Thank you, Amazon.
That's if you get your stuff. Just saying. Someone doesn't steal it off your front step anyway.
With Blue Chew, I always get my stuff.
Hey, no. Thank you, Blue Chew. We appreciate the money in advance. Just say it. Amazon had a terrifying, absolutely shocking turn of events at their distribution center this week that would never, ever make me trust a robot ever again. I would come armed to work every day. I would come guns a-blazing into work from now on if I worked at this plant in New Jersey. Just saying. An Amazon robot that sends 24 workers to the hospital has everybody terrified that Skynet is real, Dave, and I don't blame them. Earlier this week, a robot at the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Robbinsville, New Jersey, went rogue, Dave. It went so rogue that it sent 24 workers to local hospitals.
What?
Yeah, Dave, yeah. So much for that. Oh, no, Skynet's just a pipe dream, Tim. Skynet is just your imagination, Tim. Skynet will never happen, Tim. We'll see the dead walking around eating our brains before we see Skynet, Tim. Oh, no, they're nice and friendly, Tim. They're just here to help us, Tim. Oh, no, technology is our slave, Tim. BS. According to a report from ABC News, the machine punctured a can of bear repellent spray. I can't even say it. It's so terrifying. Bear repellent spray, Dave. Releasing concentrated capsaicin spray. Oh, my God. Into the air in the warehouse. Capsaicin is a major ingredient in pepper spray, Dave. So you don't just put it on your nachos and enjoy. It's a naturally occurring substance in peppers, sure, giving the vegetables their heat. But when you put it all together and you concentrate that stuff, it hurts. After the can was punctured, upwards of 24 workers were sent to local hospitals, including one in critical condition, Dave. One in critical condition. While an additional 30 people were treated on scene at the warehouse. That's a total of 54 people, Dave, taken out by a robot. Boom.
All right, that's an accident's happened, Tim.
No,
it's a one-off story, Tim.
No.
One-off story where a robot accidentally while trying to serve his man by dealing with dangerous packages.
To the story. Why are you trying to cut me off? There's more to this story. There's more to this story.
Damn it.
I must report. At our Robbinsville Fulfillment Center, a damaged aerosol can dispensed strong fumes in a contained area of the facility. Amazon told ABC News, the safety of our employees is our top priority. And they went on to say how it is their top priority. Oh, sure. But not when you hire robots. Amazon then continued on, reiterating that the safety of their employees remain their top priority. They just said all of the impacted employees have been or are expected to be released from the hospital within the next 24 hours. The safety of our employees is always our top priority, except for we've already hired the robots and we're not firing them. That's what they said. They said, we'd like to thank all the first responders who helped with today's incident. Although Amazon workers aren't unionized, Dave, the Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union released a statement soon after arguing for better working locations at Amazon facilities across the globe. Here's what they went on to say about robots, Dave. Amazon's automated robots put humans in life-threatening danger today. Life-threatening danger.
It was an accident, for God's sakes.
The effects of which, Dave, this is what they said, the effects of which could be catastrophic and the long-term effects for 80-plus workers are unknown. RWDSU President Stuart Applebaum, who I have on good authority to know has an authoritative name with the name Stuart Applebaum. That's very authoritative, Dave. He went on to say the richest company in the world cannot continue to be let off the hook for putting hardworking people's lives at risk, and I agree. He said our union will not back down until Amazon is held accountable for these and so many more dangerous labor practices, like, I don't know, letting robots sweep the floor, maybe. I mean, they could put extra wax when they're mopping on there and make people slip and break their necks. Just saying. All of the workers involved are expected to make a full recovery. Thank the Lord, the human Lord, that they're going to. Just saying. All right.
Is that opposed to the robotic Lord?
There has to be one. They're going to make us bow down to it.
Well, Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll be that Zoltan machine from the movie Big.
I think you're onto something. You're either onto something or on something.
I'm about to be on something. I'm about to throw down some NyQuil Severe Vapo Cool, Tim.
No Blue Chew, Dave?
Not right now.
Oh.
Right now I need to clear me lungs so I can get a full, fresh breath of air. But then a little bit later, we love you, Blue Chew. Oh, yes, we do. We love you, Blue True, and we'll be true. When you're not with us, we're blue. Oh, Blue Chew, we love you. Send in that money now, Blue Chew.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Hey, Dave, I'm not done on the robot tip, if you know what I mean.
Pardon me?
I'm just saying. I haven't. I'm just warming up. There's another robot story out there this week.
Come on!
Robots are planning our destruction, and you're sitting there doing NyQuil shots. You're just medicating yourself, getting ready to be torn apart by a robot. Torn apart by a robot.
What'd you say? Tone a pot?
Torn apart by a robot.
Nobody got time for this, Tim.
Man, I am getting heated. Getting heated. Don't make me take off my flip flop and throw it at Skynet. Just saying. It's the one good flip flop I have too.
What's this story about?
Dave, I want you to think about this for a minute. You said, "Oh no, there's no danger in the factories." No, the Amazon factory
one-off.
workers.
It's a one-off factory robot mistake.
No,
Tim.
Dave, no.
Probably the programmer's fault. To be honest with you,
no,
Tim.
No, Dave. I want you to imagine this: you're working along in the factory, working along, and you're looking up at the clock and you're going, "Oh God, that lunch break is coming. Oh, I can't wait. I hate my job.
Lunch break, yeah.
Hate my job. Half an hour left until lunch. Can't wait. I got that salami and brown Schweigert sandwich waiting in the fridge with extra mayo."
My mouth is watering just thinking about it.
Oh, that sounds so gross. Anyways, so you're mopping the floors, so you're doing whatever. You're making the widgets, and you're making the widgets, and you think, God, only half an hour, and all of a sudden, you get impaled by a 10-foot long steel spike from a robot.
Come on! Are you kidding me with this?
No, it happened.
Come on, Tim!
Nope, it happened.
What?
Happened to a 49-year-old guy at a porcelain factory in China. Why on God's green earth would there be a 10-foot long steel spike in a porcelain factory in China? You know why? Because the frickin' robots, they snuck it in, Dave.
Come on!
No.
Am I channeling Howard Dean there, Tim?
It kind of. It's like a... Yeah, but you're on it, man. You're on it. You pretty much are doing it. A factory robot impaled a worker with a 10-foot-long steel spike after a horror malfunction, Dave. Not horrible, horror. Like, what the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the picture I'm looking at, Tim? That looks like more than one spike.
Oh, yeah. That robot had some robot rage. That was I will kill you, Mr. Zhu, Mr. Zhu, Mr. Zhu. He went nuts.
What the hell was that? That was one of the most terrifying audio bits ever.
Yeah, that was the robot just going nuts. A Chinese factory worker has survived being skewered with 10 metal spikes. It just didn't go for 1, kids. It didn't go for 2. It didn't go for 5, 7, or 9. It went for 10. 10. Like it was counting in the Sesame Street thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It skipped 11 and 12 because it must have ran out of memory for the song. The 49-year-old named Mr. Zhu got 10 metal spikes when a robot malfunctioned. Count them, 10. And if you saw this picture, you would never pick up your iPhone again. I guarantee you. The 49-year-old named Mr. Zhu was working on the night shift at a porcelain factory in Hunan province when he was struck by a failing robotic arm. Oh, yeah, just that failing robotic arm. No big deal. The accident resulted in him being impaled by foot-long, half-inch thick metal rods. This according to the People's Daily, who I doubt would report on stuff like that unless, it was a private company. Sure. He was first taken to a local hospital before he was transferred to the Jiangya Hospital of Central South University due to the severity of his injuries. 6 steel rods fixed on a steel plate pierced his right shoulder and chest. 4 of them penetrated elsewhere in his body. It's hard for me to even say this. The pain just would be excruciating. During the operation, doctors found that one of the rods missed an artery by just 0.1 millimeters. That has got to be about not even a hair width. They have a picture of the 10 skewers, Dave. Oh, my God. The width of these things. Oh, my God. I want to throw up. The rods also prevented doctors from carrying out x-rays before the operation, so they had to go in blind and remove these things. They were relatively big, so there was no means of fitting the patient into the x-ray machine where the nails themselves could have caused interference with the x-rays, said Wu Peng Feng, an associate professor of hand microsurgery. Surgeons worked through the night to take...
Is he related to the Wu-Tang Clan?
He's a distant cousin, Dave. He was on that one album that Martin Shkreli bought that nobody can hear. Yeah, he was like, Wu-Pang thing in the house, Wu-Pang thing in the house, taking those rods out your back, son. And then that was it. He had just that one little cameo, but nobody's ever heard it because Martin Shkreli had the album.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Surgeon worked through the night. Listen to me, I sound like the foreign correspondent. Surgeons worked through the night to take out all of the rods in Mr. Zhu's body. Oh, my God. And they have pictures of them pulling this stuff out. His condition is now described as stable, and he will undergo treatment and physiotherapy to assist in his recovery, and he's already able to move his right arm. There's probably a lot of ow when he does it, but he's moving his right arm. Mr. Zhu was lucky not to suffer the same fate as American factory worker Wanda Holbrook. The maintenance technician was killed by rogue robots, Dave. Killed by him, who had veered into the area she was working in and crushed her head. The 57-year-old was inspecting machinery in an area where components were assembled when the robot took Wanda by surprise. You heard that right. They don't announce they're coming. They just kill you. Entering the section she was working in, court documents filed at the time said. In 2015, another car industry worker, this time in Germany, was also killed by a robot. They never tell you they're coming. They just kill you. The unnamed 22-year-old man was part of a team that was setting up the stationary robot at a Volkswagen plant when it grabbed and crushed him against a metal plate and then maniacally laughed afterwards. Last year, a construction worker miraculously survived after he was electrocuted, thrown from his workstation, and then impaled through the anus by a 4-foot steel bar. Yes, Dave, impaled through the anus. They added insult to injury.
Come on!
Yeah! 37-year-old Yang Ming had accidentally touched live wires on a building site, and the shock sent him flying backwards onto
his fault.
No!
He touched live wires, Tim. It's not like the robot came up and jabbed him with live wires.
Well, he probably meant to, Gabe. It was all part of the master plan. It sent him flying backwards.
Did you just call me Gabe?
No, I said Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And it sent him flying onto the protruding metal rod.
Whatever, Tom.
With no... I get called Tom all the time. You act like that's an insult. With no lube, I may add. Right onto the protruding metal rod. Boom.
All right.
Rescuers left the pole inside and rushed him to the hospital so surgeons could fish it out. Ming had to undergo 7 hours of surgery at the Sichuan University West China Hospital in Chengdu, capital of China's southwestern Sichuan province. There you go. That's the end of that tune, dude. I started at 10-foot-long steel spikes, and I left with one up the anus. Beat that!
Let's collect ourselves, take a deep breath, and we'll return. Speaking of impaling yourselves, try Blue Chew. We'll be back with more right after this.
Beyond the darkness.
Welcome back to the show. This is the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. And now we've come to one of my favorite parts of the show, Tim. Parashare. This is where you, the listeners, you get a chance to be a part of this show. You can call in and leave your voicemails on our Voices from Beyond and tell us your stories, Tim. Mm-hmm. Or you can email me, Dave, at darknessradio.com. Those are usually two of the best ways to reach out. I know a lot of you try to send me messages through the social media. Mm-hmm. those get lost really easily. So if ye could you please just email them directly to me at Dave@Darkness Radio. That would be the best way to do it. Yeah. That's all I'm saying, Tim.
Right.
People could do that.
That's probably the easiest.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Tim, that's an easy way to do it.
Right.
Just email me your stories. Tomorrow, Tim, I know you're excited about this. I will be taking a day off because I've not been feeling well. This cough is kicking my ass. I'm tired. I'm cranky. I'll be taking the day off. But you are back, and you've got Katrina Weidman from Paranormal Lockdown.
Yeah.
Joining you, plus a brand new theater, The Mind, of course.
Right. I had an awesome conversation with her. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll find out more about that and what kind of strange experiences she's been having with Nick Groff and Paranormal Lockdown Season 3, which is on the air right now, Destination America. But let's get to some stories, Tim. If ye don't mind too much, my friend.
No, not at all. As long as it doesn't involve robots and impalement. Yeah.
Wow. I was gonna take it back, don't you?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do. Take it back. All right. Our first story, Tim, comes from Brian. One night I was alone in my house watching TV in the living room when I heard one of my son's toys go off in his room. I ignored it, thinking it must be the battery going off on another toy being on top of it, causing it to go on and off. It went off again. So I finally got off my couch and went into his room and waited a few minutes for it to go off again. But it did not do so. I returned to my couch, and minutes later I went back to his room again to see what toy was going off. But it wouldn't do it again while I was standing in the doorway waiting. I noticed my son's pillow on the floor, so I walked towards the pillow to pick it up and put it back on the bed. As soon as my back turned to his toy box, the toy went off again. It was his Batman helicopter toy that was sitting on top of all the toys in the toy box. So I figured out the battery must have been going bad because there was no toy that it could be on top of, causing it to go off. So I go back to watching TV when it again goes off. So I was a little creeped out. I shut off the TV and decided it was time for bed. On the way to my bedroom, I stopped in the kitchen to grab a snack and water. While in the kitchen, my phone made its notification sound telling me I had received a text. As soon as that notification sound went off, I heard a female kid giggle as if they were sitting on the counter. It freaked me out, so I went to my bedroom to go to bed. While laying in bed, I heard noises in the kitchen, like things being moved around. So I got dressed and left the house. Previously, years before, my dad had seen a ghost while sleeping in the middle of the room, and once a candle lit by itself. I no longer live in that house. That was handed down from my grandparents when they had passed. I don't believe it's anything mean or evil, but still creepy as shit. That's what Brian Gale has to say, Tim.
I guess, right?
It's a scientific way of measurement. Creepy as shit, by the way.
It's a good measurement stick.
My name is Gwendolyn. I'm the lead investigator. We don't even get addressed anymore. This message, the last one, not even addressed. Straight into the story. I guess that's okay. They know who they're writing to. That's the important thing.
Well, we hope. I mean, hopefully it's not misaddressed to somebody else.
Well, even if it is, we are the beneficiaries. Is that the word? We're the ones that benefit.
The benefish. I like that.
Yeah, we're the benefish of this, so it's okay. All right, Tim, here we go. My name is Gwendolyn, and I'm the lead investigator for Uncharted Paracryptid Studies. Do you like that voice?
I do like that voice, yeah.
Soothing and lilting?
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah.
I've always had a gift that has been wildly uncontrollable and unpredictable at times. This gift can sometimes cause heartache, confusion, or in this case, a heartfelt memory I'll never forget. My great-grandpa was a coal miner when he was young. He was involved in an accident when two coal cars smashed together and took his leg almost completely off. When his leg was amputated, the doctors took any remaining nerves and rolled them up into a ball, suturing his leg up with all of the nerves still attached. They gave him phantom leg syndrome, caused him pain, and prevented him from wearing a prosthetic his entire life. When I was a kid, I remember meeting him a handful of times. We would go to my great-grandma's house in West Virginia. I would be there for a short time before he would finally call me over to him. He would help me climb onto his lap so I wouldn't hurt his leg. He was always sitting in his favorite reclining chair with his favorite Afghan, and my great-grandma made sitting over his lap to hide the lack of leg. He was always in this recliner and always had the same Afghan over his lap. I would just sit on his lap, and he would ask me all kinds of questions. He would tell me how special and pretty I was and how I was a lot like him. I would ask him just as many questions. During some of my questioning, I found out that he was always in his recliner because it was his favorite place to sit. He told me that the Afghan he used was special to him because my great-grandma made it, and it helped him to allow his nerves to stay warm and hide his missing leg. He told me how old he was when he lost his leg and that his leg causes him pain because his doctors didn't fix it right. He told me how strange it was to still feel like he had a leg that he didn't have and how long it took to get used to the feeling. He would tell me how for a long time after it happened, he would try to stand up or get out of bed and fall because he forgot he didn't have that leg anymore. He told me all kinds of stories and life lessons. After a while of talking, he would grab me under my arms and guide me off his lap onto the floor so I wouldn't automatically bump his leg. I would run and play with my sisters the rest of the time we were there, and he would just sit in the chair smiling and watching us kids. A few years ago, 2015, I was riding in the car with my mom and my sister on the way to a restaurant. We were talking about old memories, and she started talking about my great-grandpa. I began telling them how I remember sitting on his lap and how we would talk. My mom stopped me and questioned me if I was sure. I told her some of the things we would talk about, and he used to make me laugh. My mom told me something right then and there that shocked me and caught me completely off guard. She told me that my great-grandpa had passed away before I was even born. I told her she had to be wrong and told her about his favorite chair and what he said about his leg. She said all of it was right, but there's no way I could have ever met him. My mom sat quietly and thought for a few minutes before she does remember me when I was little, and my great-grandma would be sitting in the kitchen with the other family. They would hear me laughing from the sitting room while my sisters would be off playing. My mom told me she never thought to check it out to see what I was doing because we were relatively mindful kids at that age and didn't get into much trouble. Now, I look back on those moments. I never saw my sisters interact with my great-grandpa or anyone else in the house, with him for that matter. My great-grandma never checked on him to see if he needed anything. I don't remember ever talking to him about it, or never talking about him to anyone. My great-grandpa and I would just talk, and then I would go play. I would often wonder why I was able to see him, feel his skin, and feel him lift me onto his lap, look in his eyes, feel him bounce as he laughed. I know he was real, and I know him from his stories, he would tell me. Stories that have been validated as truth by my family. How could he have possibly been dead when we interacted like two normal great-grandpa and great-granddaughter would? And why me? Thank you for listening to one of my first memories of a strange but wonderful encounter. I'm an avid listener, and I love how you approach every scenario with an open mind and a ready ear. Gwendolyn, from Uncharted Paracryptid Studies. Gwendolyn, thank you. That's a really beautiful story. Very cool.
Very cool indeed.
Yeah, very Sixth Sense-y. Is that a word? Sixth Sense-y?
You just made it one.
All right.
Yeah.
Dear Mr. Schrader. Oh, wow.
Yes.
I was recently speaking to someone about this experience I had and thought it might make an interesting story for your podcast. It's not spooky and doesn't really involve ghosts or monsters, or maybe it does. Anyway, I'll try to write this out in a readable text. Thank you. We appreciate that. Begins, Dear Head Honcho and Second Banana. Oh, we've been addressed in this one, Tim.
Second banana, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah, who's the first banana?
No idea. I'm hoping to get that station one day. So, yeah.
This occurred during the time my son attended the New England Institute of Tech in Rhode Island just a few years ago. With me, a co-signer, he was able to attend by securing a loan to cover the cost of the school and money to pay for his room and board. First of all, may I just say for this email, thank you that it's also in like 42-point text. It's very easy to read, Tim. I like
good.
This one.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And every other sentence is like a paragraph, so it's very well broken up. Thank you. This first 18 months went well, and he graduated Dean's List and studied for computer programming. Big sigh of relief for me knowing he'd gotten through it all. Then we went on to register for his bachelor's degree, and we learned I could not co-sign again as I Guess I didn't earn enough. One big shot went with the associates. Understandably, I was upset, and my son more so. He was thinking he'd have to leave the college. NEIT did tell him that the school could loan him the cost of education, but that was all. No extra money for his room and board. He didn't know what to do. There was no possible way he could work enough hours to pay for the rent around that area, even with a roommate. Not to mention, when would he study? He's smart, but not that smart. One quiet evening at home, I began reminiscing about his childhood. I was very proud of him and flashed back to memories of his childhood. He was just a good kid, and I missed those early easy times. Thinking how proud I was when he graduated high school, I felt like going over to look at his diploma. I went over to remove the padded, bound document from the filing cabinet. Holding it in my hands, I recalled the day he graduated. I was so proud. And my Auntie P and Cousin Ann attended the event, which was then followed by a lunch at a local diner. Just the four of us. Kneeling by the filing cabinet, I felt the diploma case in my hands and could visualize that day. Now, here's the weird part and the purpose for all of this maudlin reminiscing. Wanting to feel closer to my son, I decided to remove the actual certificate from the case. I wanted to hold it in my hands and read every word on it. As I pulled out the corners, I noticed a piece of paper sticking out from behind it. I pulled it out to discover it was a bond that my Auntie P and Uncle Mike bought my son when he was a baby, worth several thousand. Present bank value, $32,000. I couldn't believe my eyes. Holy crow, what the? I think that I was prodded to open up that diploma by my Auntie P, who had already passed. I now know that on that day we sat at the diner, my aunt took his diploma and stuffed that bond behind the certificate 8 years earlier. The obvious fact is, when would I ever have found that bond? When? How in the world would I have ever found it for my son to use? In his time of need, someone prodded me to quite literally look behind that certificate right when my son absolutely needed financial help. Something made me want to see that diploma. Something made me want to remove it from its case, to find that bond so my son could continue in school. Folks, there are no coincidences. And that comes from Corliss from Connecticut. Love the show. Love you and Tim. You make what you do seem easy. Just like Sunday morning, Tim.
Or popping in some Blue Chew. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty easy, ain't it?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Tim. Now, this is an interesting little story.
Okay.
And it comes with a photograph.
Really?
Yeah, and I got to figure out, I mean, can you post these photographs on today's podcast?
I don't have a way to post photos, no.
Can you post the photographs on today's podcast, though?
I don't get what you're asking. I don't have a way to post photographs.
Okay, but could you post the photographs on today's podcast?
No, I don't have a way to post photographs, no.
There's no way to post the photographs on today's podcast?
No, I don't have a way to do that, no.
All right. What if you just put the pictures up though on today's podcast? Could that work?
Yeah, I don't have a place to do that. No.
Oh no, not at all. Huh?
No.
I can't see. Huh. All right. I don't know what to tell you. We've got a story here with pictures, and Tim won't let me share them with you guys. You've heard them.
It's not that I don't want to share them. I don't have a place to put them.
It's all like, no pictures for you. This is a really weird, eerie, cool picture. And boy, I'd love to share it with you guys, but Tim ain't having it. Still very bent out of shape about the fact that he's probably going to lose the Zombies versus Terminator.
I'm not even close to losing that.
He's so angry about it.
No, I'm not angry.
We'll figure out a way to do it. Once we figure that out, I will make sure that we post it. Whether Tim wants me to or not, I'll figure out a way to post it.
I'm all for posting it. I just don't
listen
have a
to him.
place
It's just so angry and full of debate.
No, I'm mellow. I'm sitting back listening to stories. I've got guys nailing on my side of my house for some reason.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, Dave, I'm sending you a Parashare that involves both me and a friend of mine. I will warn you, it's a bit long. As of now, it is ongoing. I also would like your opinion on it, if you please. I have a friend that lives in Virginia. She lives in a large 2-story, 4,000 square foot house on a river. Show off. She bought the land in 1994 and built the house that is there now. Since then, she has seen a black, shapeless mist peeping at her from around corners and has awoken up at about 2 or 3 a.m. and seen it hovering above the foot of her bed. She now sleeps with a crucifix and a copy of the Lord's Prayer, and it has seemed to stay out in the hallway outside of her room for now. There's an empty spare bedroom in the back part of the second floor, and the light bulb in the closet in it actually exploded and caught on fire while she was in there. And I mean literally explode, not just shatter or such. She has woken up many times with the feeling of something sitting on her chest and has been scratched multiple times by it while sleeping. Always 3 scratches, always on her back left shoulder. One time, she walked around a corner in her house and walked through the black mist. She tried to stop, but momentum carried her through. The mist immediately disappeared. Pardon me, Tim. I'm suddenly channeling a 62-year-old hard-drinking man.
You went from mist to phlegm, yeah.
Yeah, the mist immediately disappeared, and she started feeling extremely nauseous and lightheaded, and her ears started ringing. Not her eyes, Tim, for future record. Her eyes were not ringing, but it were her ears.
Right.
She had to leave that area and lay down before it stopped. About 4 months ago, her son, who was 23, ridiculed the thing, singing Ghostbusters out loud to it and such. 2 days later, his girlfriend's dog ran in front of the car and died. Then a few days later, her own dog ran out into the river that their house is on and drowned. The dog was very old and had never been in the water before. I started talking to her about her experience about 3 weeks ago, and since then, I've woken up at my house hundreds of miles away at around 3 a.m. feeling something at the foot of my bed. Both times, my face was covered. By the time that I could see, there was nothing there. She said that the 2 nights that happened, it was quiet at her house. Just a few days ago, I was talking to her around 2:30 a.m. She was in her bedroom, and she could feel that there was something outside her door. She's never experienced anything anywhere else before. I'm thinking this is a demon in her house and maybe related to something that used to stand where her house is now. I've done a little research and found that up until 1952, there was a building exactly where her house is now, but cannot find out what it was. What do you think this could be? As I said, I think it's a demon, but I don't know for sure. Hope you and Tim are doing good and have a great day. And that comes from William in St. Augustine, Florida. I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with the past building. Maybe it was an earth elemental. Maybe it was a nature sprite, and she's upturned it, and when she built the house, built it on a property that this energy felt was its. Its? Is that the right term? That it belonged to it?
Sure, it. Yeah.
Not the clown Pennywise from It, Tim.
Right.
Or maybe it is. Maybe it'll eventually take that shape.
Well, you never know.
Yeah. Hi, Dave. I'd like to tell you what I've been experiencing in my house. Back in November, I'd gone to bed one night and couldn't fall asleep. I rolled over in bed, and when I took a look, there was a dark smoke next to my bed. I panicked and thought that my cell phone or something had caught on fire while I was charging it. I started flailing my arms and unplugging all my electronics. I started to notice there wasn't any scent of smoke and thought nothing of it. The next morning, I started thinking about those events and thought something seemed off. So that night, I decided to try something. Before going to bed, I set my phone to record myself sleeping. I ended up asking the spirit out loud why it was there, why it showed itself to me, and a few other questions. I listened to the recording the next day and caught some EVPs. One, clear as day, said, "I don't know why I did it." There are usually strange events like this if I set out equipment and record things. I have caught orbs on video and other EVPs. When I'm downstairs, I hear footsteps upstairs walking. I know this isn't too exciting of a haunting story, but I'm open to any questions people may have, and that comes from Kemal. Kemal, Tim. Kemal. Kemal?
Sure.
Kemal?
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is.
I don't either.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But you got some of that, what we call the EVPs.
Yeah.
I'd love to share this other story that has a photograph, but Tim has
it's not me,
his
Dave.
foot down.
It's not me. It's the
wants none of you to see the pictures.
No, it's not. It's not me. It's not that.
Sometimes he's a harsh taskmaster.
No.
You're a mean one, Mr. Tim.
I don't have a place.
You know what it sounds like you need, Tim?
What's that?
You need to just let go, have a little fun, and maybe try a blue chew.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got a whole closet full. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Whole closet full.
Yeah.
No wonder you're always hard on yourself.
Well, I love me some Blue Chew, Dave.
See what I did there?
I see what you did. I love me some Blue Chew, Dave. But why the whole Dennis family loves Blue Chew. Me, Mom, Dad, the dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dog.
Well,
God,
Red Rocket.
Come over to your place.
Yeah.
Especially if my shin is dressed like it's asking for it. Hello, Dave. I broccoli speef. I broccoli speef in your live
roast
stream.
beef?
I don't know what I was trying to say there. Hi, Dave. I have had something following me since I was young. It all started as a baby, just learning to speak. According to my mom, I'd be babbling away saying, play. Nothing out of the abnormal, really, in my opinion, but as the years went on, it continued to full-blown conversations and unusual behaviors. At about the age of 6 years old, give or take, I was laying on my grandmother's bed, and from what I was told, I was speaking in another language, cursing and swearing at my mother, and my hand would occasionally twitch. Keep in mind, I have no knowledge of said events. My mom said being a skeptic left me be. My mom, being a skeptic, left me be. See, sometimes if you read it the right way, Tim, it comes out and makes more sense.
I see that.
My mom, comma, would have helped me out there. My mom, being a skeptic, left me be, comma, and it apparently passed after I passed out over 24 hours. Through my life, I suffered through Great Depression, drug use, self-harm, etc., and it always felt like it was out of my control. Finally, around the age of 15, I decided I needed to know what was going on. I spoke with numerous different psychics and mediums and a variety of people involved in the paranormal world. I gave them no information other than what I've told you here. Some of them even less than that, to all of which give me one name, Bilal. I did my research on him, and needless to say, it terrified me. Whenever I speak his name out loud, it seems to make activity worse. I learned St. Michael's prayer, and since it has been relatively calm. If it sparks up, I recite it out loud, and it seems to dissipate. However, in the last year, I have gained a significant other, and lately, all the activity seems to be directed at him. Things moved on their own, thrown his direction, or simply when I'm not home. Do you have any suggestions or anything physically to rid me of this attachment? Thank you for your time, Amanda. Yes, Amanda, I would, first of all, stop mentioning the damn name. Stop writing the damn name. Stop talking about the damn thing.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That would be my first case. Then secondly, just have pray the prayer of St. Michael over your loved ones. That would be my next case. And then, we've spoken to the ghost remover on this show. Can't remember his name right now. The ghost remover guy.
Ghost remover.
Bob. Maybe Bob.
Yeah, Robert. Bob.
Bob the ghost remover. I feel horrible. He's been on a bunch of times, but I'm old and I'm on NyQuil and DayQuil right now.
It's not half, right? No. Well, anyway,
I think like something ghostremover.com. You could probably look up that website or check them out. Just go to like Facebook and try that, Tim. Let's just go into Robert Major.
That's it.
Bob, as we like to call him. Bob. B-A-H-B. Bab. Yeah. Huh. That would, he's one. David Franklin Farkas.
Yeah, there's another. Yeah.
Bless me.
Franklin Farkas.
I've sent David Franklin Farkas. Yeah. He might be a person to help you. But, stop saying the name.
What, David Franklin Farkas?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Bilal. Yeah. Bilal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baloney, whatever the name is.
Baloney. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, I've been given the honor and privilege of attending a friend's wedding in the beginning of October at the historic Kent Manor in Maryland. With a name like Kent Manor, I thought to myself, wonder if it's haunted. So I looked it up, and lo and behold, it is supposed to be haunted by a former inn resident, Alexander Thompson, specifically in room 210. So I wanted to reach out to you since you are a location scout for Ghost Adventures and see if you had any stories or additional information as to where the hotspots are in the manor. Also, I have a voice recorder app on my phone. If I leave that running all night, do you think that it would be powerful enough to perhaps catch some EVPs? I've never witnessed anything paranormal before, but have been interested in it for a long time. Any expert information you can provide me would be greatly appreciated. I'm sure it really is haunted because it's a very good location for paranormal activity to occur since it is on an island. Thank you for all you and Tim do with Darkness Radio and yourself with your dedication to preventing suicide and depression. I greatly appreciate it and absolutely love your show. And that comes from Scott Schreiner. I don't know about Kent Manor Inn, and I haven't been a location scout in 2.5 years, but I'm not familiar with the location. Here's one thing you want to think about. Running an EVP while you're sleeping. It sounds romantic and fun, Tim.
Yeah.
But
sounds great.
Yeah, just remember this, that when you play it back, you're going to have to realize that you may not like what you hear, and you can't unhear it. So sometimes what is unknown is best. Do you see where I'm going with that, Tim?
I do.
Like if you record and you're sleeping, you're just and in the background you're hearing, "I'm going to kill you. You must die." That's stuff that you can't shake, and it might make sleeping hard. Or what if you hear, "Look at how small his penis is." Right? What if they're mocking you in your sleep?
That's just the wife.
Yeah. Speaking of penis, I've got a letter from Johnson here.
Can I throw two? You got a letter from Johnson? Well, before you make that transition, can I throw two things in here?
Yeah, please.
One, recording while you're sleeping is going to give you an awful lot of evidence to review. So I'd think twice about that. The second thing, recording with your phone, you've got two issues. One, you're going to have to leave that bad boy plugged in all night, otherwise you're going to run your phone down to nothing. And two, recording with your phone, although phones have gotten better as far as recording quality, they also still have quite a few more filters than your regular old-fashioned digital recorders, especially the lower quality digital recorders. So although you can still catch things on your phone and catch EVP on your phone.
I've got some really good EVP. That's the scary part.
Yeah, and with different phones you can get good EVP. Mm-hmm. I still kind of swear by the old-fashioned recorders.
Yeah. Good old skin on wieners.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot.
Good old-fashioned recorders. I like the good old-fashioned skin on wieners. Those are the most delicious when you barbecue them, Tim.
They are. But it's worth a try to use your phone. The other thing, too, is depending on how, with transfer rate and all that other stuff and putting it in an editor, you'll have better quality and everything, but
sure,
you won't get the hiss and everything. There's nothing for a spirit to back itself onto or anything like that. But you'll get a hell of an EVP if you get it. It'll be great quality.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
This next email rather.
Mm-hmm.
It makes my heart beat. It really makes my heart beat because it comes from Don Johnson. Tim.
Does it?
It does. That's what it says. Hello. What you said about sending a message back in time by thinking about it was an idea I had back in 1972 or even before that. I even did this for a long while and got some very interesting results. I would sit in my bedroom and just run a history of what was going on in my life with the dates and the big news of the day. Then I would wait for feedback from the future. Once I was informed that I was going to be even more successful soon, a year later, Once I was informed that I was going to be more successful soon that year than I had ever been before. And after a few months later, I was offered a job with a $30,000 raise over what I had been making. And because of 9/11, I must tell you this too. 3 days before 9/11, I had this vivid daydream that lasted about a minute or two, looked just like a cloud of smoke as the buildings were falling. I had control of the dream and could fly above and look down into the vortex of the smoke. I didn't see any buildings. I thought I was watching dirty snow falling in an avalanche or smoke from a volcano. Then I woke up. When I saw the news on 9/11, it freaked me out. I was watching it on TV, something that I had dreamed. At first, it frightened me. Why had I had that dream? I didn't tell anyone about it for a long time after that, but the people I did say would say to develop that tool. Or they would say, where is your proof? You can't prove it. I know what I saw, when and where I was sitting. I've never had such a vivid dream in my life as this one. Could it be that I sent a message back in time to myself from the near future? One last thing. How I came to think of that idea, sending a message back in time, was because of a day at the beach with a friend while we had been smoking weed. That's when all the best thoughts come, Tim. I was trying to, that's not true, kids. Don't smoke weed. I was trying to figure out how to send signals in space faster than the speed of light. I was drawing diagrams in the sand and came up with the idea of a piggybacking signal inside TV programs that could send data, closed caption, coupons to a printer, text messages, etc., kind of internet stuff in 1972. I was taking physics classes in college, and when I would get stoned, I would think about physics and science. Later that night, I thought about time and the ideas that if the day came up and sending message back and forth through time by using the mind. So I do think it works later, and that's from Don, Tim. Don Johnson. That's how it's signed. I'm going to believe him, Tim.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Our favorite, not our favorite, but our favorite type of email, I should say, is my last one. Hi, Dave and Tim. Hope you, my favorite radio show hosts of all time, are both well. Just want to share a quick story with you. My husband and I are currently on holiday in St. Ives, Cornwall, which is the far south of west of England. It's a beautiful and unspoilt area and free from a lot of light pollution you get in the more urban areas of the country. Last night, we had just had a barbecue on our roof terrace right by the harbor side. Nice, right? And we're enjoying the clear night looking up at the stars when I see a bright white light incredibly high up moving fairly steadily from west to east. I pointed out to my husband, who sees it also. A miracle, considering he did not see the silent black triangle I had emailed you about a couple of years back. We watch for it about 5 seconds when it slowly fades to nothing. It's gone, almost like it knew we had spotted it. I obviously think it's aliens. My husband thinks it we just so happened to see a satellite as it stopped picking up light from the sun. What are the odds of that, though? Pretty high, actually, pretty high. Any satellite I've seen, and I've seen them often, have always been comparatively the size of a pinprick and consistently the same brightness as the surrounding stars, moving high up in the sky. This was roughly the size of a pea, again, comparatively, and so bright it seemed to glow. Also, sun was approximately 3.5 hours before we saw whatever it was. I'm no astrophysicist. Would the glare from the sun hit an object at this time? I'd like to get your or any of your listeners' takes on what it might have been. Your ever faithful listener, Joe, usually of Lawton, currently of St. Ives, but always of the UK. Yes, I believe that the sun can still reflect up that high, but I'm not a scientist or a meteorologist or a skyologist. Is that a thing?
I think it is, yeah. I think it's
skyologist. Yeah. I'd like to be a skyologist.
You can get that degree from the University of Phoenix, I believe.
Could I?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Skyologist.
So I'm not sure what it was, but probably satellite, especially if it dimmed as it went out further. And if it was going further away from the sun. Like if the sun would have been behind it, and that might have been causing it to glint, and the further away it got, it blinked out, that would lead me to believe that it was a satellite. So I hope that answers your questions. If it doesn't, then it was definitely aliens.
Yeah, why not?
I don't like to disappoint, especially when we're their favorite hosts, Tim.
Sure.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks a lot for tuning in, kids. We'll be back again tomorrow with more of the best in paranormal talk radio. Katrina Weidman from Paranormal Lockdown on Destination America joins us tomorrow, plus a brand new Theater of the Mind right here on Beyond the Darkness.